They had everything: fame, money, power, adoration. For a moment in time, they were untouchable, but fame is fragile. And sometimes, it disappears faster than it arrives. Today, we are looking at 20 celebrities who had it all, and then lost everything. Some lost their fortunes, some lost their careers, some lost their reputations, and some lost far more than that. Stay with me, because these stories prove one thing: fame is never permanent. At number 1, Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage was once one of Hollywood's highest paid actors. At his peak, he earned over $20 million per movie. But spending spiraled out of control. He bought castles, rare artifacts, private islands, exotic animals. Then came tax debt, millions owed to the IRS. Properties were seized, assets sold. Fortune drained. He went from Hollywood royalty to taking almost any role to recover financially. A reminder, even massive income can't survive reckless spending. In 1986, a 20-year-old Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, a force of nature rewriting the rules of boxing. He amassed a staggering $300 million fortune, indulging in every luxury imaginable. Sprawling mansions, fleets of exotic cars, and even pet tigers became symbols of his incredible wealth and larger-than-life persona. But the empire began to crumble. A storm of legal battles, high-profile controversies, and a messy divorce chipped away at his fortune and his focus, sending his life into a chaotic spiral. The final blow came in 2003 when he filed for bankruptcy, revealing debts that eclipsed his remaining assets. The King of the Ring had hit rock bottom, losing nearly everything he had earned. Today, a different Tyson has emerged. Humbled and reflective, he has embarked on a public journey of rebuilding, finding a new purpose beyond the glory and the chaos of his past. At number 3, Britney Spears. She dominated pop music in the early 2000s. She was everywhere: albums, tours, endorsements. Then came intense media pressure. Personal struggles became public spectacle. In 2008, she was placed under a conservatorship. For years, she didn't control her own finances or major life decisions. Though wealthy, she lost autonomy. Sometimes losing everything isn't about money, it's about control. At number 4, Brendan Fraser. He was a box office king in the late 90s and early 2000s. Then suddenly, he disappeared. Behind the scenes, he suffered physical injuries from stunt work. A difficult divorce drained his finances. He also spoke about experiencing harassment in the industry. Roles slowed, offers stopped. 4 years, he was gone from Hollywood spotlight. Fame can fade quietly and sometimes unfairly. At number 5, Wesley Snipes. He was a major action star. Box office draw, recognizable worldwide. A dominant force in Hollywood action films. But then came tax issues. He was convicted for failing to file federal tax returns and ultimately served prison time. The headlines were relentless, and in Hollywood, momentum is everything. While he was away, the industry didn't wait. His career stalled, roles disappeared. Studios moved on to the next leading man. What once looked unstoppable slowed dramatically. One legal mistake reshaped everything. At number 6, Amanda Bynes. She was a child star with a massive future ahead. She was funny, charismatic, loved by a generation of young fans. Hollywood saw long-term potential, but adulthood brought public breakdowns. Legal trouble, erratic behavior, highly publicized mental health struggles. The shift was sudden and very public. Her career collapsed quickly, projects stopped, offers disappeared, the spotlight turned harsh. Eventually, she stepped away from acting completely. A powerful reminder: child fame doesn't always translate into stable adulthood. At number 7, Lindsay Lohan. She was one of Hollywood's brightest young stars. Blockbuster movies, magazine covers, red carpet royalty. For a time, she was everywhere. Studios invested heavily in her future. But then came the downward spiral. Arrests, rehab stays, court dates that dominated headlines. Reliability became a question mark. And in Hollywood, trust is currency. Studios stopped trusting her, career momentum vanished. The talent never disappeared, but consistency did. Because in this industry, talent alone isn't enough, consistency matters. At number 8, Charlie Sheen. He was once the highest paid actor on television. At his peak, he earned nearly $2 million per episode. The numbers were staggering. The success looked untouchable. But then came the public meltdowns. Very public feuds, explosive interviews, substance-related struggles. The situation escalated fast. And then the unthinkable happened. He was fired from his own hit show. Just like that, the income stream stopped almost overnight. A powerful lesson in modern fame: public chaos can end even the biggest contracts. At number 9, MC Hammer. MC Hammer dominated the 90s music scene. Chart-topping hits, global tours, massive earnings. At one point, he made tens of millions of dollars. But behind the success was an expensive lifestyle. A huge entourage, lavish spending, multiple mansions. The money was flowing out just as fast as it came in. Then album sales slowed, and the math stopped working. The income couldn't sustain the lifestyle. In 1996, MC Hammer filed for bankruptcy, one of the most famous financial collapses in entertainment history. Fast money disappears fast. At number 10, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. Blockbuster franchises, massive global fan base, consistent box office power. For years, his position looked secure. But then came the storm. Legal battles. High-profile divorce, years of lawsuits and public trials. The headlines were everywhere. Regardless of the legal outcomes, the reputational damage was significant. Studios grew cautious, major roles were lost. Momentum slowed, because in Hollywood, perception often moves faster than facts. Even global stars feel that impact. At number 11, Tori Spelling. Tori Spelling was born into Hollywood royalty, the daughter of a powerful television producer. From the outside, her path looked protected. Privilege, access, opportunity, but adulthood told a different story. Financial issues followed her for years. Overspending, mounting debt, very public money struggles. The contrast surprised many observers, because access to wealth doesn't guarantee financial discipline. Her story became a cautionary tale. Privilege opens doors, but habits determine outcomes. At number 12, Kanye West. Kanye West was once counted among the billionaire elite. A music empire, major fashion partnerships, global brand dominance. Few artists had crossed into business at that scale. Then came a series of highly controversial public statements. The fallout was swift. Major partnerships dissolved. Multi-billion-dollar contracts were terminated. Brand relationships vanished almost overnight. The financial impact was massive. Billions in estimated valuation disappeared. A modern business lesson in real time. Reputation affects revenue. At number 13, Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr experienced something rare. A successful sitcom revival, massive ratings. Strong audience return. A second wave of momentum. It looked like a full comeback story. Then one tweet changed everything. Backlash was immediate. The network responded quickly. The show was cancelled. Just like that, momentum halted. In today's digital age, the timeline is unforgiving. One post can change everything. At number 14, R. Kelly. R. Kelly was once one of R&B's biggest stars. Hit songs, major awards, global recognition. 4 years, the music dominated charts. But serious legal charges followed. Then came convictions. The consequences were severe and permanent. His career was destroyed. His freedom was lost. A stark reminder that fame offers no legal shield. Fame does not protect you from consequences. At number 15, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was once viewed as a television legend, a cultural icon often called America's father figure. His influence spanned decades. Then decades-old allegations resurfaced publicly. The story rapidly escalated. Trials followed, conviction came. Public perception shifted dramatically. His legacy was permanently altered. One of the most dramatic reputation collapses in entertainment history. Reputation can collapse in weeks. At number 16, Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson reached global fame in the 1990s. She was everywhere: television, magazines, pop culture headlines. But over time, personal scandals began to overshadow professional achievements. Her private life became very public, relentlessly public. The narrative around her career started to change. Gradually, major roles slowed. Opportunities became more limited. Her public image reshaped her career trajectory. Because sometimes in Hollywood, controversy follows you for decades. At number 17, Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter was a teen pop sensation. Huge early fame. Sold out shows. Massive young fan base. At a very young age, success came fast. But the years that followed were difficult. Financial problems surfaced. Addiction struggles became public. Legal troubles added more pressure. The momentum he once had never fully returned. A painful reminder of how fragile early fame can be. Child stardom can be extremely delicate. At number 18, Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid built a solid reputation as a successful character actor. He worked steadily, respected roles, recognizable performances, but later years brought serious turbulence. Legal issues, multiple arrests, increasingly strange public behavior. Hollywood grew cautious, then distant. Eventually, major opportunities vanished because in the entertainment industry, the machine rarely waits for anyone. The industry moves on quickly. At number 19, Sinead O'Connor. Sinead O'Connor achieved global fame almost instantly. One powerful hit song, worldwide recognition. A voice that stood out immediately. But her controversial public protests reshaped how the industry responded to her. The backlash was intense. Radio bans followed. Public criticism grew louder. Over time, isolation increased. Her career trajectory changed dramatically. Her story reflects a difficult truth. Standing firmly by your beliefs can sometimes come at a very high cost. At number 20, Brendan Urie. Brendan Urie experienced massive music success. Sold out tours, major awards. Global fan energy. From the outside, everything looks strong. But behind the scenes, pressure builds in ways fans rarely see. Burnout is real, and eventually, he chose to step back from the spotlight. Sometimes, the loss isn't financial. Sometimes, it's emotional exhaustion. Because not every exit from fame is a collapse. Sometimes, losing everything means choosing peace over pressure. Fame looks permanent, but it isn't. Money can disappear. Reputation can collapse. Fans can move on. Behind every spotlight, are human beings flawed, vulnerable, imperfect. And these stories remind us of something important. Success is powerful, but long-term stability is rare. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to Celeb. Because behind every spotlight, there's a story you don't see.